speaker is going to talk to us about our Marina Days. Gladys Postans, will you come up, please? Okay. Got it.
Is this the first time this has been used? And I'm not used to speaking into a microphone, but can you hear me? Yes, through the years, the Lakehead Visual Arts has been active in workshops and the activities in the building, which was down at the marina. And we were always very happy to be able to take part and use the building. And the city of Centerbury was always very gracious and very cooperative in any problems that we had. And they always, we would do the repairs that we could. And then what we couldn't, they would certainly help us. It was really called, the building was the former CPR, sometimes I said CNR, but it was really the former CPR freight office and customs. And they had an office up there that was, that took care of all the bookwork, and there was money involved, finances, and there was a large vault. Now, I don't know how big the vault was, but Mr. Cram would probably give an idea how large it was. It was pretty big, and it had a thick door about that thick. And so we stored things in there, and we were, the other thing was, one day I was in the gallery as a, just as a volunteer, and a lady came in, and she said that she used to work in the customs office in that building, and she said, oh, and she didn't live here now, but she was very happy to be able to be in the building, and she said about all the activity that went in there with the boats coming up to the marina. So it was quite a story that she had to tell. In our summer gallery, our volunteers worked to keep it open, and sometimes it would be quite late at night. But with the Ontario Arts, just a minute here now.
Council.
The Ontario Arts Council then gave a grant. We had to apply for a summer student. So we were able to have a summer student during the day, which was good for the student, and they had to be going to school, though, university or some school. And then the volunteers would work the weekends and evenings, so we were able to keep it open for many, many hours. We also would do the painting on the walls, and the volunteers would, and then the flowers around the building. We used to, a couple of us would go, one of the girls had a van, and we used to collect the flowers from the conservatory, and if they were around to come, but there didn't seem to be anyone available at that time. But we did get a commitment from Lieutenant James Bartleman, who was the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario at that time. Well, we were very pleased and shocked that he would come, and he might have been in somewhere around, but he did come, and he said he didn't want a whole lot of dignitaries or anybody around. He just came here to speak to us and the artists, and so that was wonderful, because that's exactly what he did, and he was able to enjoy the artwork. We gave him an art painting by one of our members, Lynn Lindsay, and he was very happy to have that. And also, he came around to each artist and shook their hand and gave them a little pin, and he just had a wonderful time. And when he arrived, he came in a limousine, and he had a car in front and a car in the back, so Peter Cram, Elizabeth's husband at the time, at the time she was the president, I mean, he came in his tuxedo, and he went out to meet him, and he came in, and we were so happy to. Peter was a good representative for us, and so then when they came in and they were walking, when the crowd was around, they had members and families and friends. We noticed there were a couple of people there that we didn't really know, and we said, I wonder who these people are. There was one man, he had a large jacket with check, red and white, and then we asked around, and evidently they were his bodyguards, and there were two of them. And so anyway, we've had some great times, and I don't want to go on here. There are, one time, well, I will tell this one story. There was, the building was heated by oil, and in the summer, in the winter, just after New Year's or whatever, my husband and I came down one Sunday afternoon to pick up some easels, and we walked in the door, and the worst sight you can ever imagine, the heat had gone off in the building, and the pipes burst, and the whole building was dripping. I can't tell you, but it was the most horrible sight I can still remember. Oh my goodness! And so all the metal on the ceiling was rusted, and so anyway, the city, we talked to them in the Monday morning, and anyway, they shut everything off, the water, everything off, and it was left, and we were going to have to repair it if we wanted to use it, and it just happened that there was, I'll mention his name because there was a painter, David Lang. He was a teacher at Northwood High School, and at that time, you didn't have all the liability to worry about, and we knew him. He was in one of the classes, and he said, I could probably get the students from the school to come down and do the painting and fix up, and all you would have to do was just give them a little honorarium or something. So we did that, and it just happened that my husband was in the scaffold business, so he and some of the members' husbands came down, set up the scaffold, and the boys painted the building, painted the ceiling, and got it all back together. You couldn't do that now because of liability, but David Lang was responsible for that. So all we had to do, we brought them hamburgers for lunch and pop. We gave each some amount of money for each boy that came, and we were very happy to. So we were sure happy to see that ceiling, and I guess the ceiling is still the same ceiling as far as I know. It has not been taken down. But we used to have people come in and remark on the ceiling, even. Because there's not many buildings in Thunder Bay that have that kind of ceiling. But anyway, that's just one of them. So that's all I have to say, unless there's any questions.